Good evening, everyone. Today
Turn
is
on your microphone.
Tuesday, July 5th. Welcome to the Madison City Council meeting. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July holiday and Regatta Week. We don't have a tremendous amount on our agenda tonight, but what we do have on our agenda I think is impactful. So first, as in prior meetings, we'll stand up, remove our hats, bow our heads, recite the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll get to the meeting. Thank you.
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome again to all of our guests tonight. Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Chavanaugh.
Here.
Krebs.
Here.
Lucy Datillo.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Chatham.
Here.
Bartlett.
Here.
Dan Datillo.
Here.
Okay, council, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from the June 21st council meeting? So we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I'd like to introduce America's Chief John I. Wallace to the podium. He's got a lot going on tonight. Chief, welcome.
We do, yeah. It's been one heck of a weekend. Good evening, council, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you and come before you tonight. I'd like to ask Janet to step up to the podium with me. I think, as you know, Janet Daugherty is our animal control officer, and this is a special night for me to be able to recognize her and give her some accolades for the outstanding job that she has done. So I've typed up a letter, so if you'll endure me, I will read it to you. In the fall of 2021, the Jefferson County Animal Shelter found itself in a very precarious position as the shelter director abruptly stepped away. With no one to oversee the day-to-day operations, City of Madison Animal Control Officer Janet Daugherty stepped up and took charge. Performing her normal day-to-day duties as ACO and acting director of the animal shelter was no easy task. Janet, however, handled both positions with class and professionalism. Not once did she complain. Since resuming her normal duties after relinquishing the shelter's reins to our new director, Lindsay Stoltz, Janet has continued to go above and beyond the call of duty. Director Stoltz has contacted me numerous times to sing Janet's praises. Without being asked, and not necessarily part of her day-to-day duties, Janet often is the first one to arrive at the shelter each morning. Janet helps get the day started by doing whatever needs to be done to assist the staff and take care of the animals, in which she clearly loves. Director Stoltz stated Janet does a tremendous job of de-escalating situations at the shelter and is a tremendous people's person. Stoltz stated there are a lot of different personalities in the shelter. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of different personalities in the shelter, and as a team, they don't always agree. However, one thing they all agree on 100% is how much they love Janet.
I thought you were going to say the animals.
Well, them
That
too.
Yeah.
As chief of the Madison Police Department, I respectfully ask the mayor and the city council to recognize Janet Daugherty as one of our many outstanding city employees. Janet certainly exemplifies the best of the best the city has to offer. We thank Janet for her service to our community. Yeah. And we have just a little special gift for Janet in a card in this envelope. So
Thank you.
it's not much, but enjoy. And
Thank you so much.
well,
I appreciate that.
I think it's just very important that we understand. I mean, it's all of us in the city, and I think this council gets it. I mean, I'm here before you all the time, singing praise of my officers. But Janet is very much a huge part of our department, and she just does a great job. It's one employee I don't have to worry about. I just cut her loose and she takes care of everything else. Would you like to say anything to the council, Janet?
Gosh, I don't know. Just thank you very much. This is a great job, and I did it once before, and I loved it then, and it's just, there's so many good people, and it's just an amazing job, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do it. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, council. I serve on the animal shelter board, and I can attest that the shelter was left in just dire needs. And the situation that Janet walked into, if you could only imagine, animals just left with no one to care for them, and Janet stepped up to the plate and took care of it. So we really appreciate everything she does and everything she continues to do. But I also want to invite up Lindsay. So Lindsay didn't realize that she was going to be recognized tonight, and I'm not fancy like John. I don't have a letter. I don't have a card. But, no, you have to stand by me.
Lindsay is shy.
Yes, Lindsay's shy. So this is our animal shelter director, the newly hired animal shelter director. When Lindsay came on, there were 80 cats. I think the shelter was completely full of dogs. And if you spend any time getting to know Lindsay or visiting the shelter, you'll understand that she is turning our shelter around. I have a file this thick of kill records of animals that were just euthanized for no reason, healthy, adoptable animals. Lindsay has brought our shelter to no-kill status, and that is with the help of her employees and the help of Janet and the help of Paul, and that's something that we should be proud of. So I just wanted to recognize her as well for her efforts that she's made to really turn our shelter around through rescue partnerships, foster programs, and getting our animals adopted to good homes. So thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you. I want to say something about Janet. She is my best employee, and she's not my employee. So in a heartbeat, I would steal her.
Can't have her.
Please. No, from day one, she's been my biggest help in there. She arrives early. She helps me take the animals out. She knows the answer to everything. She helps me to de-escalate situations that I normally don't know how to handle. She knows how to handle all of my staff's personalities individually, and that's helped me tremendously because I don't always know what I'm doing either. She would have been a great animal shelter director, and I will tell her that every day. But I'm just so proud of her, not only as a colleague. She's my favorite colleague I've ever had, and she is also a very good friend. So you guys are very lucky to have her. I will take her if you don't need her.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Well, I want to give Chief Wallace some accolades here too, because he really started shining the light on issues that were evolving or continuing unaddressed at the animal shelter, and he helped prompt the change. And then with some new board members and with Lindsay and Janet, as Hannah had indicated, the shelter is turning around, and that's great for our community. It's a much needed investment by our community.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask Officer Philip Wimpy to join me at the podium, please. On June 4th, 2022, at approximately 2:14 a.m., Madison Police Officer Philip Wimpy responded to the 171 block of Taft Drive, reference a possible narcotic overdose. Upon arrival, Officer Wimpy found an unresponsive 21-year-old male, grayish blue in color, with agonal breathing. Officer Wimpy quickly recognized the possibilities of an opioid overdose and administered Narcan. With little response, Officer Wimpy utilized the department-issued bag valve mask to assist the victim with breathing. After 2 minutes, a second dose of Narcan was administered with positive results. The victim started breathing on his own, and his skin color began to improve. As a result of Officer Wimpy's quick response and positive actions, the overdose victim survived. On behalf of a grateful community and a very proud Chief of Police, it's my honor to present Officer Wimpy with the Life-Saving Medal of Honor. Officer Wimpy truly exemplifies all that is good about the Madison Police Department. We thank him for his service.
expect to have to talk up here tonight. Sorry. I just want to say thank you to the council. It's readily apparent. I left for a while and came back. If you guys don't know my backstory, but I left for a while and I came back. And in the 3 years that I left, I heard nothing but good things about the progress that the department's made, and that's wholly attributed to the city council and the mayor and the staff of the city. So I just really, truly appreciate the changes that were made. You know, you said you were going to make them, and you did. And as an officer for the department, I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Officer Wimpy, I just want to say thank you for believing in us and coming back to Madison. Thank you.
Officer Gibbs, I'd like you to come up to the podium, please. Council, this is our newest officer, Andrew Gibbs. He comes to us from the VV Police Department as a 3 years experienced police officer. Brings a lot to our department and to our city, and we're very fortunate to have him. So tonight, I will ask the mayor to please do the honors of swearing him in, please. Yeah, we'll just step around here.
I, Andrew Gibbs. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution of the Constitution of the State of Indiana. That I will faithfully. And impartially. Discharge the duties of a police officer. The city of Madison Police Department. To the best of my ability. According to the law, so help me God.
Like Chief Wallace said, I'm a 3-year police officer from VV. I'm originally from Evansville, Indiana. I just wanted to thank you guys for making the transition to a new department, even though hectic, really easy. And you guys have been extremely welcoming, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, officer. Thank you for accepting the great responsibility that you have, which is to serve and protect our community. Appreciate it. Yeah.
And council, briefly, I'm sure you've all heard about the fire that we had early morning of July 3rd at 5th and Walnut Street. We've been dealing with a lot of the media all day, a lot of interviews, and we put together all the video from the body cam, from the different body cams that we had. You can visit our Facebook page at the Madison PD and view that. However, at the next council meeting, if you allow, I will certainly bring those officers back to recognize them. It was unbelievable. I've been doing this for a long time, as you know, and to watch that for the very first time, it choked me up. It really did. Just to know that the grave circumstances are there, and these men and women just, whew, they knocked it out of the park. So we're very thankful for them, and we'll certainly have them before the council at the next meeting. Thank you. And why is Katie
Chief?
sitting so low? What? Is it a small cake? Oh, okay. All right.
Chief, if I may, this past weekend in particular, your crew has such a tremendous job of keeping order when the city has so many visitors in it. And in the midst of that, to be able to respond to an emergency of this nature and to respond the way that your officers did speaks so highly of your officers' commitment, their training, and frankly, so highly of the leadership that you and your leadership corps provide to those officers. And all I can say is thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bartlett. They make me look good. They do it. I'm just I'm the guy out front and cheerleading, but boy, they just simply get it done and do whatever it takes to make sure that our citizens are safe. But thank you for those words, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Moving on, no resolutions or bills tonight. Are there any reports, recommendations, or other business from the standing or select study committees of City Council? Hearing none, we'll go to bills on second reading.
We have ordinance number 2022-10, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, to repeal and replace sections of 52.20, 52.21, 52.22, 52.23, 52.24, 52.25, 52.26 of the City of Madison Code of Ordinances establishing rates and charges for the use and services rendered by the waterworks system of the City of Madison, Indiana. I think, I was gone last week, but I think Mayor Courtney went over this and gave you the redlined copy. And this really is just changing the rates to reflect the URT, which is the Utilities Receipt Tax that our legislature has repealed and taken away and asked all communities to do so. So it is a reduction in the rate, albeit not very much, but it is a reduction. So if there are any comments or questions, we'll entertain those now.
Why does this rate not reflect the county's ARP contribution?
We talked about that with our bond counsel and our rate consultants, and they were a little bit leery to do that at this juncture, given that we haven't seen it and we don't have it and we don't know where exactly how it can be applied. And so we were a little cautious to do so. And as council knows, there is some pending litigation which could potentially change rates at some point in time. So they felt it best to just kind of hold off and meld that all in. This particular rate, while it does not specify it in the statute, the best practice around the state has been to try to get this done by July 1st or as soon as you can. And so that's why we wanted to go ahead and at least do this.
Okay, thank you.
And we did call on that today to see when we could expect the funds, and I
But
didn't receive a
microphone,
response.
please. And Brian, you want to come to the podium in case there's a question for you? Thank you. Sorry, you want to, I'm not sure anybody heard your question.
Oh.
Yes, or
Did you
comment.
hear me? I said, I called today to see when we could expect the check, and I did not receive a response. The county auditor, Heather Howe.
Are there any other questions or comments from the council? Anything further from the audience?
I would move that we suspend the rules and move on to third reading.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and move this on to third reading. Again, changing the rates and a reduction rate to remove the URT tax. Is there a second for that?
I think someone in the audience had a comment. Did you raise your hand? Okay.
It's like an auction, Ron. Don't move.
Don't wave to anybody. We'll call on you.
Okay.
In that case, here's a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and move this on to third reading. Have a roll call vote on that.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Krebs,
Yes.
Lucy Tillo,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Chatham,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Dan DiTillo.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll go on to the third reading of ordinance number 2022-10, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, to repeal and replace sections 52.20, 52.21, 52.22, 52.23, 52.24, 52.25, and 52.26 of the City of Madison Code of Ordinances establishing the rates and charges for the use and services rendered by the waterworks system of the City of Madison, Indiana. If we could have a roll call vote, please.
I think that's mine.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Krebs,
Yes.
Lucy DiTillo,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Chatham,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Dan DiTillo.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, council. Moving on, is there any miscellaneous items to address tonight? Move on to public comments. Anybody here like to address council or the mayor's office? Now would be the time to come to the podium. Identify yourself, sir. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I can give Ronnie a
Got you,
little introduction if you want.
Unfortunately, we have you on film here, so everybody to be able to see you. Thank you for being here. Your name is, sir?
Ron Lanham.
Okay.
Okay, I've never done this before, so I'm a little nervous, but I live at 625 Miles Ridge Road, and it intersects with Hannah Lane, which comes out back by the animal shelter and stuff. I got 6 grandkids that play ball, ride bikes. There's hundreds of kids up and down that road all day long. There's people walks their dogs. There's people walks their children in strollers. There's bicycles. There's golf carts. And as soon as you make that turn off of Miles Ridge Road onto Hannah Lane, it's a starting line for a racetrack. And I would like to request a couple speed bumps between Miles Ridge Road and Twin Lakes, or Twin Falls.
Twin Falls.
I'm sorry.
The cul-de-sac.
Yes, because I mean I've sat there and watched cars almost not even make the stop sign to make the turn. They come down through there so fast.
Both directions, sir, or just
Both
coming
directions,
down? Okay.
both directions. So it's a 2-part request is what I have here. Starting on the second one, there's an alley that comes from Frank's Drive over to Hannah Drive. And a lot of people from Frank's Drive use that too to walk and stuff through there. So me and my neighbor, Bob back here, we've talked about there should be a sidewalk, a 12-foot sidewalk, blacktop, whatever, from there all the way out to the stop sign, or stoplight at 62. The golf carts could use it, the bicycles could use it, people walking their dogs could use it, the animal shelter could use it to walk the animals every day. You walk down through there and people come around them corners and stuff, and they're flying, and when they come around, you gotta jump over into the grass to get out of the way. So the speed bumps would slow them down, and eventually, with the sidewalk and stuff, you could probably do away with the speed bumps, and if there was a sidewalk down through there for people to use. So I'd just like to make a request, you all consider it. I mean, the speed bumps are cheap. We need some signs down through our speed zone, children at play, anything from that one section all the way out to the stoplight out by Ivy Tech.
Ron, you would have no reason to, if there's another, but I'll just make this
I know.
comment.
Is Chief Wallace still out there?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure Chief is here, because a lot of our traffic safety evaluations are done in 2 ways, Ron. One's with Chief of Police, and then also Traffic Committee to try to identify solutions to an area.
They, you know, and in their.
And I'll tell you, this speeding is a problem all over the city.
Right.
But we do have a new traffic division as well, and Chief can explain that too.
In their defense, they have had cars sitting up there at Twin Falls, but as soon as you make that turn, you see them, and it's, you know, they slow down. So.
There is a traffic safety committee of council members. I think there's at least 3 of you. I'm not sure exactly who all it is. And they don't always have meetings unless they need to, but I think generally speaking, you know, you guys could schedule a meeting relatively soon, have Chief Wallace there, and if Mr. Lanham wants to come, but he's kind of made his request, and then they can kind of go over that. And usually then that results from a recommendation to the city council in the form of an ordinance or something like that.
And Ron, when we talked, I know you'd mentioned speed bumps is one option, sidewalk, even something like rumble strips could be an alternative option as well. Anything that slows people down coming down the road. And I'll attest as well. I mean, it's easy. You see lots of people flying down there, and it's not hard as you're coming around that curve, if you're not staying vigilant, to get going a little faster. I mean,
I think Ronnie's, he's right on. I mean, that is heavily traveled area, and foot, and again, golf cart. A lot of bicyclists and a lot of people use that to exercise. So if we can get our traffic committee to meet prior to, I'll do some speed surveys, put our mobile radar unit up there, and continue to work on to remedy that situation. But yeah, hopefully we can work on a few things. Like I said, it's kind of a windy stretch where there's a few blind spots. So hopefully we can come up with some solutions and ideas to improve the safety there. Thank you, Ron.
All right, thanks for y'all's consideration.
Ron, thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming, Ron.
Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thanks.
I guess whoever's on the traffic committee, I guess I'd suggest you get with Quinn and get a meeting scheduled.
Any other public comments? Yes, ma'am?
My name is Elise Detmer, and that's
Detmer,
my
hi.
husband Wayne sitting right back there because he's had back surgery 8 weeks ago. I hope that my standing here just takes care of the countless encounters we've had of unpleasant things, and lately it has turned into actually vandalism and harassment. I say no names. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody else? Charlie?
My name's Charlie Ferguson, 718 East 2nd Street. And I was wondering what the process is to recall an elected official.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
The state statute.
There
I'm
is a
sure
state
that-
statute that applies.
To be state, the city doesn't have.
No,
anything
the
on
city
their own.
doesn't have any particular one. It's all controlled by the
And
state
where
statute.
could I find that?
I can try to look up the code number and have the mayor's assistant
That'd be
give it
great.
to you.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Anybody else would like to address mayor's office or city council? Bob, how you doing, sir?
My name is Robert Mustafa. I live at 2616 Hannah Drive. I'm right on the road where the kids play, the golf carts are coming through there. I'm a walker myself and really enjoy walking through that area. And Ron and I talked last week, and we just need a walking path, and it's already graded for it on the west side of the road, and I measured it from the alley where Frank's Drive, and there's a bunch of people from Frank's Drive that come through there, and then they walk up past the animal shelter. It's a half mile from there, and you already have grading in place to put a third lane in there if you so desire to do that. I was an engineer by trade when I came to Madison, and I've walked it off, and it's really not going to take a whole lot to make that work for everybody. And I'm one of the guys that has to jump off the road, jump back on the road. The sun's in people's eyes, but I really like going through there. And then I had another further step I'd like to go. That should be a certified wildlife habitat on the old landfill, and there already is one up there with Dr. Pat and Sue Stack. They have one there. We have red fox, we've got red-winged blackbirds, unbelievable amounts of deer. You have no idea how many animals are on the old landfill. The deer sleep in there at night. There's at least 6 to 8 at any given time in the evening. The wild turkeys, the wildflowers, the Stacks are beekeepers. It would be really nice to turn that into that instead of it just being the landfill. And I even wanted an observation platform at some point where everybody could sit along the walkway through there. It would be a way of revitalizing some land that has been basically written off, but there is just, in the city of Madison, there's more wildlife in that area. Even the black bear that everybody saw, it's kind of like Elvis, everybody sees him, but they couldn't put their hands on him. It was up in there and I saw him. So that was kind of a unique thing, and I would like to see that taken care of. And there is ample water in there where the animals come to drink. It is also full of coyotes and rabbits and everything else you can think of. But the walkway is what I'm interested in. The kids in that area flow to the street. We don't have sidewalks in Miles Ridge. We don't have street lights. But everybody, and I have a long-term goal where if we had a crossing there, we could go to the shopping areas at Kroger on a bicycle, where the state highway had an actual crosswalk through there. And then I have big dreams of running it all the way to the Hilltop area too, having a path where we can ride bikes. And but people really do enjoy it, and I think it would be a worthwhile investment, and especially for that area. And it is beautiful back in there.
I agree with you. That is an area where there's a lot of homes, a lot of children, as you said, very, very active. We have had conversations in the past with the Conservancy District about that area, and I have as well. And we highlighted that area in our most recently completed Master Parks Plan. So I agree with everything you said.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just think it should be revitalized. And yesterday there was probably 20 to 30 golf carts going through there. And I don't know how many every hour of the day there's walkers. I walk in the evening. And it would be nice, it would be safer. And then I've talked a little bit with John Wallace. They have roving patrols. I mean, things are really, they do a good job, but it'd be nice to have some speed limit signs and children at play, adults at play signs, and it'd be an added feature to that area. There's no real playground in that area, and the kids are playing in the street. And Ron and I had the same concerns for the kids, yeah.
Our master park plan, our goals is to create more recreational activities right there where you're speaking about.
So if you have the funds available and the grading is there, it's not rocket science. If I could get some of the councilmen just to walk with me through there, the grading is there to put an extra lane there.
To be on the east or the west side?
On the west side, where the animal shelter is. And they're walking the dogs from the shelter there. Everybody from Miles Ridge walks their dogs, so I think it'd be a good feature. And it just needs to be done, but Ron and I said, we don't really know where to get started with the city. I don't know if we go see the city engineer about this or who we see.
It's a combination, honestly. City Council Mayor's Office, obviously, Parks Commission, Parks Board.
Yeah.
Carla sits on that. Carla was just involved in the master planning associated with that, which did highlight the need in that area to design more recreational amenities there. You just heard a conversation about wanting to make additional investment in the animal shelter. So
sure,
that's a corridor where a lot more could be done. And unfortunately, I'll mention this too, is that our subdivision ordinances date back to 1997. They've not been updated since that period of time. And we don't have a lot of new subdivision development.
Right.
But sidewalks and street lighting are critical to any subdivision. Unfortunately, we've just not had them incorporated when new development was coming in. But
it's nice the way it is, though. It's simple, but I would like to see the path.
I see.
And I'll end it at that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bob, before
It's a half mile.
Thank you.
Bob, before you head away, other Bob, were you imagining a divided walking path, something that merges into the road?
Make it adjacent to the asphalt that's there, and the grading and the slope is perfect on the west side, where you wouldn't need to do much altering. There's one section where you'd have to put some drainage in. It'd be nice to have a stopping place on the upper part of the hill, even like a little area where people could sit down, because there's a lot of traffic through there. And I wouldn't keep it separate necessarily. You could adjoin it to the road there. And if it's marked properly, I think people would be well aware of it.
Well, and I think a good example is the East End Bridge Approach. So when you get to the corner of Harrison and 2nd Street, you'll see that a multimodal trail was constructed that takes people over to the pedestrian walkway on the bridge. That's a pretty standard design that communities are using, so it is multimodal. It accommodates. Now, I wouldn't say, you generally wouldn't put golf carts on that, because golf carts need to be on the street, but cyclists, walkers, people with families, that's where you would put them on the trail off of the roadway.
What you've done downtown is absolutely phenomenal, and I will say that. I'm a big fan of it. I'd like to see just some of that flow up in that area. And like I said, I want to go all the way across the hilltop, but if we could just even go over to where we can cross there at Kroger's. A lot of people ride bicycles, but that intersection's a little dicey right in there to go across.
And that's an NDOT matter, and my experience there is, they're very particular about their engineering and where they will place crosswalks.
That could be engineered though, I think, yeah.
Yeah, through NDOT, yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank
ver-
you.
thank
Have a
you
good
very
night.
much. Thank you. Any other members of our community like to address the council or mayor's office? Moving on to just a few comments. I want to echo what Councilman Bartlett was talking about with regards to, the city and Regatta Week last week. I think the city and the entire community really shined. Madison Fire Department, Madison Police Department, all the volunteers, the event organizers, everybody that was involved in putting together one heck of a week with regards to different activities. But as you know, we also had 3 fires that MFD had to respond to during the course of the weekend. And then Madison Police Department was out in full force Friday and Saturday night, and then particularly because they were staffed so well, their response to the structure fire on Walnut Street was exceptional. You'll hear more about that at the next meeting on July 19th. I'd like to invite council and the community to the groundbreaking July 12th for the Shops at Sunrise Crossing. That'll be at 10:30 in the morning. And I'll leave it there. Look forward to seeing everyone there. Excited about it. We will also be revealing the new businesses that will be locating at the Shops at Sunrise Crossing, and it's a $55 million mixed-use development at an intersection that has needed quite a bit of investment for quite a while. And I will pause there, answer any questions that council may have, and if not, the next meeting is Tuesday, July 19th.
Are you gonna guarantee some 70s weather for that groundbreaking?
Wouldn't that be wonderful? Maybe regatta weather. That was actually pretty good. A little hot, but dry.
I might be sweaty if we're
Yes.
90 degrees again.
I want to give a quick shout out to the chief as well for the traffic plan that was put together for getting everybody out of downtown Friday and Saturday night. Seemed to work great. Had officers at the intersections all the way up to the hill, and also the streets and sanitation crews. Trash seemed to be well taken care of over the weekend.
All the work they did, Councilman, in preparing for the event. And I don't know if you were down there Sunday, just looking at the difference between Sunday and Monday, or Tuesday this morning was phenomenal. They're just excellent. Yeah. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thanks, everyone.